Hello everybody, it's Adrian here with 5 minutes to go till the Big Wild Sleepout quiz. You will need a pen and paper, so these 5 minutes are your perfect opportunity to go and get them. Hello to everybody joining us. We're about 4 minutes to go till the Big Wild Sleepout quiz. You will need a pen and paper, so get those handy because once we get to 4:15, we'll be diving straight into the quiz. So get yourselves ready. Hello to anybody who's joining us. So we are live on Facebook Live. The 3 minutes to go to the Big Wild Sleepout quiz. If you haven't got your pen and paper ready, then do go and grab it now. Peace for everybody in your household. Hopefully you'll all want to play the game individually, or maybe you want to play together. And remember that you will need to pick a team name for yourselves. One of our 4 species: hedgehog, or moth, or badger, or owl. So be prepared which team you're going to be as well. So 2 minutes to go to the Big Wild Sleepout quiz. Hello to everybody who's just joined us. You won't have heard me say that you will need a pen and paper to take part during the quiz. So go and grab those if you can now. Or maybe the technological amongst you will have a tablet to write on. But what we ask you not to do is to put your answers onto the chat, because there'll be folk out there who won't want to see what the answers are. So have something that you can jot down your answers on. Just 1 minute to go until the start of the Big Wild Sleepout quiz. If anybody's just joined us, get yourself ready with a pen and paper. The quiz will take about 30 minutes, but you will need that pen and paper to jot your answers down on. I'll see you in about 30 seconds. Anybody just joining us, we're into the final countdown, ready for the RSPB's Big Wild Sleepout quiz, starting very, very shortly. Hello, everybody. The time has come. It's time for the Big Wild Sleepout quiz. Here's me in my tent. Admittedly, this was an April morning when I just arrived back from recording some dawn chorus bird sound. I can tell you there were lots of thermals going on underneath there and a very thick sleeping bag tucked away in that tent. So welcome to everybody who's joining us for this quiz. Just a quick reminder, you will need pen and paper to jot down your answers, so get those ready now if you're yet to do so. My name's Adrian Thomas and I'm your quiz master for this afternoon. So to confirm, we've devised this quiz very much with children of all ages in mind, so we hope there's something in here for everyone. We've varied the difficulty of the questions, so some you might find really easy, but some you might find a little bit on the hard side. All of the questions are about night-loving creatures, but you certainly don't need to be a nature expert to take part, so don't worry about that. There'll be 30 questions in total over 4 rounds. We'll go through the first 2 rounds, then go through the answers to those questions, and then we'll move on to the second 2 sets of questions. So yeah, around 30 minutes we'll expect it to take. And on our way through, the lovely Anna and lovely Becky will be busy on the chat function to answer any query that you might have. But please don't post your answers on the chat function, otherwise you'll give the game away for the other players. And remember, this is just for fun, so celebrate every answer that you get right and enjoy learning from those that maybe you don't. But I think there may be some 30 out of 30s that we're going to get today. So if you've got your pens and paper ready to record your answers, let's get this Big Wild Sleepout quiz definitely on the road. Here we go. So we've got 4 rounds, A, B, C and D. And A will be a prickly subject, B will be a real hoot, C will be mothy myths, D will be totally badgered. So first 2 rounds coming up, and then we'll do the answers to those. So we're going to move straight into round A, a prickly subject, as you might guess. This is all about hedgehogs. And your first question, here we go into the quiz. So a hog is a pig. So how did the hedgehog get its name? Is it A, because it has a curly tail? Is it B, because it snorts and grunts? Or is it C, because its feet are like a pig's trotters? I'll go through that again. The word hog means a pig. So how did the hedgehog get its name? Is it A, because it has a curly tail? B, because it snorts and grunts? C, its feet are like a pig's trotters? Got your answer to A1? Is it A, B or C? Okay, we'll move on to question number 2. The computer game Sonic the Hedgehog features an extraterrestrial hedgehog who can run at supersonic speeds. But what colour is Sonic? We've removed all his colour in the picture. So the computer game Sonic the Hedgehog, which I believe was turned into a movie last year, features an extraterrestrial hedgehog who can run at supersonic speeds, which is a little bit faster than I can. What colour is Sonic? Got that answer in your memory? Can you think what colour Sonic is? Okay, next question. A3, your third question in the first round. How many spines does an average hedgehog have? Is it A, 500, B, 5,000, or C, 50,000? And I can imagine that some contestants are busy counting all the spines on the screen right now to have a good guess. So how many spines does an average hedgehog have? Is it A, 500, B, 5,000, or C, 50,000? Okay, ready for your fourth question in our prickly subject round? Question number 4. A male hedgehog is called a boar, a female is called a sow, but what is a baby hedgehog called? And I don't want the answer Trevor. Question 4. to give you it again. A male hedgehog is called a boar. A female is called a sow. What is a baby hedgehog called? Interesting one, that one, isn't it? Okay, question number 5. People used to call a hedgehog by a different name. The word hedgehog is actually quite a recent name. So its former name is a word that we still use today for a spiny creature that lives in the sea. So what was the hedgehog's original name? Was it A, lobster, B, urchin, or C, whelk? I'll give you that again. People used to call a hedgehog by a different name. It's a word that we still use today for a spiny creature that lives in the sea. So what was the hedgehog's original name? Was it A, lobster, B, urchin, or C, whelk? Got your answer? Picked between A, B, and C? Okay, next question. And we're on to round B. We're on to the second round, a real hoot, which I think you can imagine is all about owls. So if you're ready for the first question in round B, here it is, B1, your first question. The owl and the pussycat went to sea, but in what? Was it A, a massive yacht, B, a beautiful pea green boat, or C, a yellow submarine? I'll give that you again. The owl and the pussycat went to sea, but what did they go in? Was it A, a massive yacht, B, a beautiful pea green boat, or C, a yellow submarine? Got your answer? We'll go on to the second question in this round. Okay, so in the UK we have 5 regular species of owl. From left to right, we've got the short-eared owl, the little owl, the barn owl, the tawny owl, and the long-eared owl. And beautiful things they all are. So we've got some questions for you about these owls. And here's the first question. So it's question 2 in round B. Which of these 5 regular species of owl is the smallest? That question again, question 2. Which one of these 5 owls is the smallest? Okay. Question 3. Which one of these 5 owls is said to go to wit to woo? That question again. Third question in round B. Of these 5 regular species of owl that we have in the UK, which one is said to go to wit to woo? To wit to woo. Question number 4 in round B. Which of these 5 species of owl is sometimes called the screech owl? Have a look through the 5 photos. Some of you may know this, some of you may be able to guess it. Question 4. Which one is sometimes called the screech owl? If you've made your selection, we'll go on to the 5th question about owls. Which one of these 5 species of owl nests on the ground? Yeah, you might have thought that all owls nest in trees, but one of these 5 species of owl nests on the ground. Which one? Hopefully you've got those answers to those questions. I'm going to run through them just once more again before we move on, because there's quite a lot there. So question 2 was, which of the 5 owls is the smallest? Question 3 is, which one is said to go to wit to woo? Question 4, which one is sometimes called the screech owl? And question 5, which one nests on the ground? Okay, let's move on. Another owl question. What is the owl name of the adult leader in charge of a pack of brownies? If you were a brownie, you've probably got an advantage on this question. So to give you again, what is the owl name of the adult leader in charge of a pack of brownies? Hopefully you've written your answer down there. And we've got another owl question here. So question 7 in round B. Jill Tomlinson wrote the children's classic book, The Owl Who Was Afraid of the Dark, about a baby barn owl. But what was the owl's name? Was it A, Plop, B, Flop, or C, Slop? That question again. Jill Tomlinson wrote the children's classic, The Owl Who Was Afraid of the Dark, which was all about a baby barn owl. But what was the owl's name? Was it A, Plop, B, Flop, or C, Slop? And I'm thinking that some of you are thinking, surely it can't have been any of those. But it was. And one more owl question. So question 8 in round B. And it's a true or false. True or false, an owl cannot move its eyes in its sockets. So is that statement true or false? An owl cannot move its eyes in its sockets. True or false? And that's a little owl with its eyes firmly fixed on us. Hopefully you got your answer there, because now we'll go through the answers to those first 2 rounds. So if you're ready to give yourself 1 mark for each correct answer, here we go. So our first question was, a hog is a pig, so how come the hedgehog got its name? The answer is because it snorts and grunts. It doesn't have a curly tail, and its feet most definitely are not like a pig's trotters. So it's largely to do with the fact that it makes a lot of, and I mean a lot, of snorting and grunting noises. If you come across a hedgehog at night, you'll probably hear it before you see it. Question 2 was all about Sonic the Hedgehog, our favourite extraterrestrial hedgehog. But what colour is Sonic? And there's your answer on the screen. Sonic is blue. Quite why they thought an extraterrestrial hedgehog would be blue, I don't know, but that's what Sonic is. Lovely red shoes too. Well done, Sonic. Question 3. How many spines does an average hedgehog have? The answer is 5,000. What's interesting to me about the number 5,000 is some of you hopefully will see the night sky tonight, and that's about how many stars we can see in the night sky with the naked eye. But there we go, 5,000 spines to an average hedgehog. Each of them is actually a modified hair. It's a hollow hair, but 5,000 is the answer. Question 4, a male hedgehog is called a boar, a female is called a sow, but what's a baby hedgehog called? It's called a hoglet. And I'm hoping that some of you in your gardens will get to see some hoglets later in the year. I don't have any in my garden yet, but I'm holding out hope because it'd be gorgeous to see. So a hoglet for question 4. Question 5, people used to call a hedgehog by a different name. It's a word that we still use today for a spiny creature that lives in the sea, and the answer is an urchin. So that's a sea urchin in the photo. And yeah, if you went back 300, 400, 500 years, everybody wouldn't have called the hedgehog a hedgehog, they'd have called it an urchin. Into round B, the answers to round B. Question 1, the owl and the pussycat went to sea in a beautiful pea green boat. It's a poem by Edward Lear, written almost 150 years ago. So the owl and the pussycat went to sea in a beautiful pea green boat. They took some honey and plenty of money wrapped up in a £5 note. And if you're going to spend the night in the tent today, why not take some honey and then ask for plenty of money as well? Why not? Right, we looked at the 5 regular species of owl. Question 2, which one is the smallest? And the answer is the little owl. It kind of gives itself away with its name, but it is indeed the smallest of those 5 owls. Question 3, which one is said to go to wit to woo? And that one is the tawny owl, our commonest species of owl. Question 4, which one is sometimes called the screech owl? So the tawny owl has the nice twit to woo, but it's the barn owl that makes a real rasping, frightening sound out there that is the noise of a screech. And question 5, which one nests on the ground? It's the short-eared owl that nests on the ground. It lives in open upland places mainly, like moorland, where there aren't that many trees, so it has to nest down in the heather, down on the ground. Next question. Question 6. What is the owl name of the adult leader in charge of a pack of brownies? It's brown owl, which is actually named after the tawny owl, but brown owl is the adult leader in charge of a pack of brownies. Question 7. Jill Tomlinson wrote about the owl who was afraid of the dark. The owl's name was Plop. Can you believe it? And in the book, Plop learns that the dark is exciting, it's wonderful, and it's beautiful, which hopefully we'll learn about today too. So Plop, A was the correct answer. And finally, in round 2, in round B, true or false, an owl cannot move its eyes in its sockets. That is actually true. Whereas we have an eye which is like a ball in shape, which is why we call it an eyeball, owls don't. It's actually like a cylinder, so they can't move the eyes, and that's why they have to move their neck so much in order to look behind them. So it's true, an owl cannot move its eyes in its sockets. Okay, hope you guys have all done wonderfully in the first 2 rounds. We're on to the next set of questions, and we're into round C, and it's all about mothy myths, which, as you can imagine, is about the wonderful world of moths, which Luke loves, and we'll tell you about more later. But here we go. Here's our questions in round C. First question, and it's a true or false again. Is it true or is it false that moths only come out at night? So question 1, moths only come out at night. Is that true or is that false? Got your answer? Okay. Second question, we're true or false again. Some adult moths never feed, having done all of their eating as caterpillars. Is that true or is that false? I'll give you that again. Here's the statement. Some adult moths never feed, having done all their eating as caterpillars. Is that true, or am I telling a porcupine? Okay, question 3 in round C. And we've got another true or false. Statement is, all moths have wings. Is that true, or is that false? Give you that again. All moths have wings. Is that true, or is that false? Right, I've got some names now, which I want you to say whether they're a moth or a bat. So the first one, question 4 in round C, noctule. Is that a moth or is that a bat? If you don't know, at least you've got a 50-50 chance of getting the right answer. So question 5, bedroll brocade. Bedroll brocade, is that a moth or is that a bat? These are all UK species here with amazing names. And here's the next one. Question 6 in round C. The ceratine. Is that a moth or a bat? Ceratine. Question 7. Barbastelle. Is that a moth or is that a bat? barbastel, a moth or a bat? Question 8. Large ear. Is that a moth or a bat? The large ear, moth or bat? And question 9. Old lady. Is that the name of a type of moth or the name of a type of bat? Got those answers? Okay, next question. And this is one where hopefully you can see the pictures well enough, because this is a chance for you to identify some moths. We've got 4 pictures of moths and we've got 4 names. And it's your job to work out which picture matches which name. So question 10, which of the moths, A, B, C or D, is the red underwing? Question 11, which of the 4 moths is the chimney sweeper? A, B, C or D? Which one do you think is the chimney sweeper? Question 12, which one of the moths is a speckled yellow? Is that A, B, C or D? And question 13, the scorched wing. Do you think that's moth A, B, C or D? Whichever they are, they're all wonderful names. I'll give you them again. Question 10, which one is the red underwing? Question 11, which one is the chimney sweeper? Question 12, which one is the speckled yellow? And question 13, which one is the scorched wing? Okay, I think you're doing well, so we're on to round D. Totally badgered, all about the wonderful creature that is the badger. So if you're ready for your first question in round D, here it is. Question 1. A rabbit lives in a burrow, a fox lives in its den, but where does a badger live? I'll give you that again. A rabbit lives in a burrow, a fox lives in its den, but where does a badger live? Think you've got that? We'll do question 2. So the word badger has come to have a second meaning, so that you can say that you are badgering someone. Does that mean A, to pester them, B, to nuzzle them, or C, to play games with them? So when you say you are badgering someone, does it mean A, that you're pestering them, B, you're nuzzling up to them, or C, you're playing games with them? Got your A, B and C? Good, okay. Question 3. We've shown you the front end of a badger here, because the question is, do badgers have A, no tail, B, a short hairless tail, or C, a long furry tail that almost reaches the ground? I'll give you that again. Do badgers have A, no tail, B, a short hairless tail, or C, a long furry tail that almost reaches the ground? Okay, we'll move to question 4 in round D. So what do badgers eat? We've got a big multi-choice here. Is it A, berries, B, worms, C, bees, D, mushrooms, or E, all of the above? I'll give you that again. What do badgers eat? A, berries, B, worms, C, bees, D, mushrooms, or E, berries, worms, bees and mushrooms? Made your choice? Okay, question 5. Here we've got a badger, but I put it in a silhouette for you. So can you remember, do badgers have a white stripe through each eye or a black stripe through each eye? It's not quite so easy when you're faced with a silhouette, is it? Can you remember, do badgers have a white stripe through each eye or a black stripe through each eye? Brilliant. Got your answers? Can you believe it? That's all the questions done. So we've just got the second 2 rounds to go through in terms of the answers. So if you're ready to give yourselves marks, 1 point for every correct answer, here we go. True or false? Moths only come out at night. It's false. Some moths come out at night, but some moths come out by day. In fact, some of them only come out by day. So it's false because moths don't only come out at night. Question 2 in round C was a true or false. Some adult moths never feed, having done all their eating as caterpillars. Can you believe that that's true? Because it is. Some adult moths, once they've emerged from the chrysalis, never feed at all during their adult lives. And in fact, the privet hawk moth doesn't even have functioning mouth parts, so it can't. So yes, it's true. Some adult moths never feed. Question 3, true or false? All moths have wings. Can you believe it? That's false. Some moths don't have wings. Some moths here in the UK, and it tends to be female moths of those species that emerge in winter, they have evolved to not have any wings. So it means they can't fly and the male has to find them. There's no way that they can get out and find the male. So it's false. Not all moths do have wings. Right, this was the section about moth or bat with these wonderful names that we have for these creatures. So number 4, noctule is a bat, and a big bat at that. Question 5, the bedrule brocade. What a beautiful name. No idea what it means, but it's a moth. The serotine is another big bat, and I'm fortunate enough to have serotine bats fly over my garden. And when they come over, it's as if Batman himself is flying over. They seem so large. Number 7, the barber stele is a bat. 8, the large ear. I wonder if people were fooled into thinking that that must be a bat, but it's actually a moth. And then finally, 9, the old lady. What a fabulous name that is. 4, a type of moth. And that's a big moth as well. And that's quite stunning when you find that in a trap. Quite dingy in colouring, but a big moth. Okay. These 4 moths, were you able to put the name and use your logic to work out which one was which? So the red underwing is C, and you can see the red underwing poking through there. Sometimes it sits with its wings closed so you can't see them at all. The chimney sweeper is moth D, and I think you can work out why it's named there. It's as if it's spent its life up in the soot in the chimney and turned it a sooty grey. The speckled yellow is moth A, which I think really lives up to its name with that kind of leopard print spotting, and that leaves the scorched wing as moth B. And I think what the photos show is what a diverse and fascinating visually group of creatures moths are, when so many people dismiss them as being a little bit boring. They're not. They're so not. On to the badger round. So D1, the first question, where does a badger live? If a rabbit lives in a burrow and a fox lives in its den, although sometimes that's called an earth for a fox, but for a badger, it's called a set. Now, that's the name of a badger's burrows. Its underground tunnels and chambers is called its set. Question 2. The word badger has come to have a second meaning. So if you're badgering someone, you're pestering them. So when you badger somebody, you pester them. Okay, question 3. Do badgers have no tail, a short hairless tail, or a long furry tail that almost reaches the ground? Well, here's a badger from side on, and I think you can now see that it has a long furry tail that almost reaches the ground. Question 4. What do badgers eat? Was it berries, worms, bees, mushrooms, or all of those? And it is all of those. I think some people will be surprised that badgers eat bees, but bees that nest in the ground, badgers will very happily dig them up and munch their way through. That is a very unusual meal. But yes, they will eat all of the above. Badgers pretty much eat anything. And our final question was, here is a badger in silhouette. So can you remember, do badgers have a white stripe through each eye or a black stripe? And it's a black stripe through each eye. And I think very distinguished they look too. So there we go. That is all the answers to the quiz. Do tot up your answers. I hope you got some wonderful questions right. Maybe you guessed some of them and got it right. So yes, tot up your scores. You've hopefully chosen which of the 4 creatures is your team name, either hedgehog, owl, moth or badger, and go into the chat function and put your score with your team name, and we'll then be able to see over the course of the evening which of the 4 teams has actually won. Your next activity is at 5:15, which is with Vicky from RSPB England with the intriguingly titled Shake a Tree, which I believe involves shaking a tree. So that's at 5:15. You'll need to head over onto the Big Wild Sleepout events page. I know that some of you had some questions on the way through. So there was an intriguing question about what's the difference between a butterfly and the moth. Well, we'll get Luke to answer that during his moth session later. So yes, head over to the Big Wild Sleepout page. You got a little break now between now at 5:15, but hope to see you back there then. Hope you had a good time on the quiz and look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks very much, everybody.